Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel, and in particular the neutral one is back. It's a new season, so after all of the big games, if I can, when I can, I'm going to watch that game of course and then try and talk about it. Arsenal have lost at home in the first game of the season to Man City on this occasion, 2-0. It finished, goals from Raheem and then an absolute belter from Bernardo Silva. And what I've done is I've taken a few notes here and I just want to talk about Arsenal, of course, and this being the first test for Unai Emery and a massive test at that. But when you look at the match stats, 9 shots to 16, Man City having a lot more possession as well. As I said, 16 shots to 9. The goals as well, of course, 2-0. It looks like it's the same old Arsenal and the same difference between the two teams. And to say that is, you can say that and that can be true. But what is different, I think, this time, and I hope it is for Arsenal fans, because it should be, is that you're looking at it with fresh eyes this time. So that's what I wanted to do as well. I think everyone should be doing that when they look at Arsenal now. There should be the same moaning about what's gone before. You've got to look at the start of a new process with a new manager and see how they put themselves together and how they move forward in this game. So in the first half, I've taken notes in the first half and the second half of what I sort of saw as the game went on. So let me know in the comments below. If you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video by the end of it, then hit that subscribe button. I'm nearly at 10k, so that would be great if you want to do that. And hear some neutral thoughts from someone who's a neutral fan. So when we're looking at Arsenal in the first half, what I've got here, endeavour versus execution. What you could see in the first half of that game was a lot of trying to play the ball out from the back. And that's to be encouraged, but also there's going to be a nervousness with that. And what you saw with the two different teams is there is still a chasm between these two teams. But the biggest problem between these two teams, in terms of Arsenal's point of view, is that they're just a long, long way off in terms of the quality of the players that they've got and being comfortable with the system that they want to play as well. So it looks like in the first half you saw it that they wanted to play out from the back. The problem is you look at the Man City goalkeeper in Ederson, he is so comfortable on the ball and he knows that he's going to have options and he knows that he can play the ball to Bernadrdo, to Stones, to Walker, to Laporte, and they're going to be able to deal with the ball because there's going to be options after that. With this Arsenal side, I saw teething problems. I saw it all over the pitch, to be honest. But I certainly saw it at the back, and there was huge nervousness there. The other problem is Petr is not comfortable in that situation. The third thing with that nervousness came from the passing, the press of Man City. I thought it was really, really impressive. They know what they're doing. It's not that sort of heavy metal pressing that you see with Liverpool, where they're just bombing at them as quickly as they can. There's a more of an understanding at the passing angles and what they're trying to close down in that sense. And I thought they did that really, really well. And you saw that with Petr nearly scoring an own goal, banging the ball into his own net. And you've still got a few of these goalkeepers now, because there's so much pressure on these goalkeepers to be good with the ball at their feet. There's still a few older goalkeepers and other goalkeepers who've been able to make it to this point who aren't footballers, they're goalkeepers. And Petr is one of those, 36 years old. He's been a great goalkeeper. He still has great intelligence as a goalkeeper, but with the ball and with a team that's going to want to play out like it showed Emery was looking to do, Petr is going to be a problem. Bernadrdo, has he got the quality to be that guy? I think we're going to find out sooner rather than later. The worry I would have as an Arsenal fan is looking at those two. They're going to be competing for it. And what you saw at Liverpool last season, or over the last few seasons, you've had two goalkeepers and they can't really choose which one is the right one. And unlike, say, quarterbacks in the NFL, where you've maybe got two guys going for it and they're going to battle it out, when it's in that situation as an NFL quarterback, there's the opportunity to go and score touchdowns, to go and affect the game in a really positive way. When it comes to goalkeepers, I think the emphasis is on less mistakes. And I would be worried as an Arsenal fan, if I was an Arsenal fan, because I think Cech and Leno, I mean, we're going to find out with Leno because he's going to be given an opportunity, because Cech on the ball is not really good enough. He's 36 years old. You've just spent a lot of money on a goalkeeper. You've got to give him a chance. But I wonder if that's going to be a problem area for Arsenal this season. One area where I was quite impressed with Arsenal was Maitland-Niles. I thought he did brilliantly, and I was sort of looking forward to talk about him, because I think he looks bigger, he looks stronger, he looks taller, and he looked very composed on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, he fell over when Kyle Walker was trying to run him, which he was able to stop the ball, do his good defensive work. And I think he's a real prospect for Arsenal. So it was a massive shame that he went off. And he thought that was going to be a bit of a problem for Arsenal. But Lichtsteiner came on, and I thought Lichtsteiner was really, really assured. He showed showed great experience, and he's got that kind of drive and that nastiness that I think will be helpful. But going forward, as a right-sided player, playing left-back, I thought he did really, really well in what could have been very, very difficult circumstances. In the second half, I thought that was a massive positive for Arsenal, was that you've got a guy there who could play right-back, he could play left-back, and he's not going to let you down. So I think that was a massive positive for them. Negatives, also in the first half, I felt that Aubameyang, to be honest, throughout the game, a lot of long balls to him, and he seemed like a little bit isolated, certainly in the first half. And I think we saw this last season with Aubameyang, that often against good sides, playing the ball through the lines and getting to him in that way, it just didn't seem to happen. Aubameyang's got great pace, and I understand you want to utilise that, but the quality needs to be there. And one final positive I saw in the first half is that Emery is not Arsene Wenger. He's not just going to stand there and yell and moan. You could see that he was constantly talking to his players, constantly looking to allow them to move forward and know more and have more knowledge on the pitch. And that's going to be a big thing. And that's a reason why you've got to be patient, haven't you? If you're an Arsenal fan, you've got to give them a chance to get used to the system. And they've also got a lot of young players playing there. Man City in the first half, thought they're just so well drilled. You saw the difference between the two teams. A lot of teams are looking to press high now, but they did it with such confidence. And if you think of the players that were on the bench, De Bruyne, Sane on the bench, Vincent Kompany not playing today, they do look so good. And where you're going to hurt Man City this season is obviously on the counter-attack, because they do press high. Arsenal didn't do that well enough. I thought Ramsey worked really hard, both on and off the ball, but they weren't able to get the ball to him well enough because of Xhaka to a point, because of Guendouzi having a bit of a baptism of fire, and I'll talk about those in just a second. But I just thought Man City, at the back, they've now got such great physical players. Mendy, unbelievably physical and has great pace on the left-hand side. I thought Kyle Walker on the right-hand side, you know what you're going to get there as well. So on the counter-attack, they're going to be fine. I thought John Stones was superb, and I thought Laporte was class. There's going to be moments where it's going to be those one-on-one situations, so you've got to have the pace and the presence and the confidence to deal with it all. And I thought, time and again, the Man City back four looked fantastic, and you're going to have to be able to really transition well if you're going to want to have any kind of joy against Man City. Second half, I thought Arsenal were brave. As I say, you've got to look at Arsenal with fresh eyes. Did they give up? No. Did they look to keep going? Yes. Did they lack a bit of quality and cohesion? Absolutely. But as I say, I thought Lichtsteiner looked assured. And then in the midfield, Guendouzi, I thought he was really brave. I think he needs to get in the weight room. He needs to be stronger. I think his positioning is wrong at times. And I think he needs to understand the players that he's playing with in terms of his defensive aspect of it. There were a few moments where I think for the second goal, you've got an amazing finish there from Bernardo Silva. But Guendouzi's just done about 3 or 4 unbelievable sprints, and you've got to appreciate that stamina for such a young player. But then when that happens, you then got to just stop, understand that you're playing defensive midfield here, and dig a hole for a second, because what happened was they went down the left hand side. Mendy's played the ball. Lichtsteiner, can he follow his man? Maybe, but he's also looking just to keep his positioning there as the left back for the team. And if you look at the goal again, you've got Ozil, who time and again you watch it, he doesn't track his players. It's a massive problem. It is going to be a problem. People will think that you're picking on Ozil when you're saying that, but it is. I thought maybe you should play Ramsey and swap him with Ozil, because at least you're going to get the running backwards, because you saw Mendy play in a more central position when Man City were going forward. And Sterling and Mendy were just absolutely tearing it up because Ozil wasn't following his runner, and Bellerin, he's then in a 2-on-1 situation, and Mendy who had a great game, but Ozil, he just doesn't like to track back. We know that now, and neither does someone like Eden Hazard, but they find a way for him to be the best that he can be and maybe take that element out of his game. If Ozil's that good going forward, maybe you need to find a way to help him, and maybe that way is going to be Torreira, because Torreira came on for Xhaka. Xhaka, I don't want to criticise him again and again, but I just don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's mobile enough in these huge games. Against lesser sides, he could be very, very useful. He's got a great pass on him, and he's a good midfielder, but you need more mobility to play in these massive games, especially games against Man City, against Spurs, against Liverpool this season, probably against Sarri and Chelsea and Sarri ball as well. And Torreira, when he came on, he didn't do anything that impressive, but I would expect Xhaka to be phased out slightly, because Torreira is going to be that defensive midfielder, and then you've got Guendouzi, who, again, like I said a bit earlier, so brave, had a really bad first half, looked nervous, looked like it was a lot, and it is a lot. It's a big game against Man City, but I thought he was brave, kept going, kept getting on the ball, and made some great challenges that started attacks for Arsenal. Ultimately, he's got a long way to go. He's just potential at this moment in time. But I think if you're an Arsenal fan, you've got to be encouraged by what he's doing there. It's such a huge position for Arsenal. Can he turn into that Fabregas player that you probably want with someone like Torreira, who's can be, nipping at ankles and winning the ball, and he can just be that smarter player, Guendouzi? I hope so for Arsenal's sake, so that they can move forward and be a better side, because I think that's what a lot of people would like to see. I think, me personally, I'm bored of moaning about Arsenal. And Wenger's gone, and I think you could hear it on the telly as well that they needed a fresh start, and they've got it, and Guendouzi's going to be a good option for them. Lacazette came on. I was thinking before the game started, him not starting, what's he going to be like when he comes on? Is he going to be a little bit annoyed? Is he going to be sulking a little bit? But I thought his attitude was class. I thought he was lively, really, really lively. And I think you've got to try and find a way to get him in the team as well, because I think he did do the work, both off and on the ball. I think that's going to be a good way to win the ball back against a Man City side, is those players coming from behind the ball and picking it off them. Ramsey did it a few times in the first half. Lacazette did it a few times in the second half. And I thought his hold-up play was good as well. He spread the ball out well. And he's not just a poacher, he's a cracking player. So I think you can find a way to get him in the team. Also, Aubameyang's going to look a lot better as well, because he then seemed to have a bit of support around him. So ultimately, Man City, are going to have another cracking season. They look fantastic. They look well drilled. They look better defensively, and they were great defensively last season. I don't think they're going to be conceding many goals this season. Can you get at them? I think your counter-attacks have got to be really, really impressive for you to do that, because they do play so well. And I think Mendy's going to be a big player for them this season. Him and Sterling look really good. Sterling with a great finish. Haven't even spoken about that. Well done to Sterling. Good that he's getting off the mark straight off the bat. And it was a calm finish, which is nice to see, because sometimes when you see him cutting in like that, he then does shank it like a lot of players do. But he was good. It was a great finish. Man City fans, you've got to be happy. You've got to be delighted. Confident, fluent, intelligent, and safe. It was a safe win. It was an easy win away from home against a team that will be in the top 6 this season. Arsenal, I think, you shouldn't be despondent. You shouldn't be raging. You should be intrigued, because I think there's some positives there. I think there's a lot of players that you need to see a lot more from, and I think you've got more options than people think, and even I probably thought as well. So those are my thoughts on this game. Man City, of course, have won 2-0 against Arsenal. If you enjoyed this video, then why not think about subscribing? If you're missing the World Cup, then in my back catalogue, there's a lot of me screaming about England, so why don't you check out other videos on the neutral one. Check out my podcast as well, Great Touch for a Big Lad. It's on iTunes, just search Great Touch for a Big Lad. I'll see you soon.